After my nightmare pendant light project, I wanted something simple, like organizers, easy organizers that only take 5 minutes of work. I ended up making 10 of them, so maybe that was a little much. First up, the world's easiest spice rack. Grab a 1x2 cut to the width of your drawer and glue it to a 5-inch wide piece of 1/4-inch plywood. Clamp it together. Done. Really. And no shade, but some people charge $30 for these over on Etsy. Secondly, we've got some quick jewelry holders. Now, I made mine fancy, but you can really just take a brass tube and glue it to a block of wood and call it a day. If you want to be complicated like me, you can cut a dado groove in some snazzy scrap hardwood so that your brass rod is recessed into the wood. Elegant, but it adds an extra 10 minutes to the project, so you know. This pot lid organizer is handy if you've got a lot of cabinet door space and need something to do with it. It's easy to make by screwing 3 pieces of scrap wood together, but be careful to choose screws that won't poke through your door. Next up, we've got a dish drying rack, which is kind of my new favorite thing, mostly because I really needed one of these. Take some 1x2s and cut them to the width of your space. Take another 1x2 and glue it to the back, making sure the pieces are evenly spaced. I made my dish rack out of a cedar fence picket because cedar can basically eat water for breakfast, and I'm lazy and didn't want to have to finish it. But this does mean breaking down the cedar first, which, you know, extra work. So if you missed the memo, scrunchies are apparently back. And while I can't say that I mastered scrunchies in the 90s, maybe the second time's the charm with this Scrunchie Organizer. Basically, grab some wood, drill a hole halfway through it, then glue a dowel rod in place. You could paint or stain it, and I actually think a black one with someone's name in fancy letters would look really cute. But this is nice wood, so I'm not inclined to do that, and also the internet would broil me if I did. Next up is this super easy dowel rod hanger thing. I say hanger thing because the first version I found was a hat hanger, but I'm not really a hat person, so I hung some scarves from it. Either way, I cut 2 pieces of suede leather, punched a hole in them with an awl, then nailed them to the wall 43 inches apart. Then I stuck a dowel rod in the loop, and it was done. I'd also like to nominate the hat hanger scarf thing for the MPO award because it took about 2 minutes of work to make and goes for $40. If you want to get rich on Etsy, sell these. Also, hit the like button below for that stellar tip, or maybe just because these videos take a ton of work to make and it would really help me out. Thank you. The good news is that this charging cord Wrangler is theoretically easy if you have a table saw. The bad news is that if you just bought a fancy saw stop, you'll spend so much time trying to figure out how to use a dado stack blade with it that it won't seem easy at all. Regardless, grab a 6-inch long 2x2 and make a deep 1/2-inch dado cut along one side of the wood. Then switch back to a normal blade, angle it at a 15-degree angle, and artistically trim both sides. Finally, make 4 dado cuts through the top of the wood to hold the cords. The other screen organizer is thankfully easier to make, largely because you can't actually use a dado stack blade with it, since stacked blades can't be angled on a table saw. Instead, I took a 5x6 piece of wood and just ran it through at a 5-degree angle 4 times for each groove. Nice and easy. This nail organizer is simple if you have a drill press, and probably fairly painful if you don't. Basically, I just made a bunch of larger holes that went partially through the wood, then glued the 7-inch dowel rod pieces into place. And finally, I saved the worst for last. These dowel rod hooks look simple, they're not. Basically, grab an oak dowel rod and cut 3-inch long pieces at a 22.5-degree angle. So far, so good. But then you have to somehow screw them to the wall. This involves getting a T-nut, hanger bolt, and wall anchor that all match, which is harder than it sounds. The T-nut hanger bolt combo I grabbed was really too big for this project, which caused all sorts of issues, from the bolt not screwing into the wood enough and then having to cut it down, to the screw side shattering the wall anchor, which was of course already in the wall. Basically, this one sucked for me, and I don't trust my hooks to hold up a thing, but it'd probably be less terrible if you got appropriately sized screws, aka ones that are not a 1/4 inch wide and 2 inches long. Or you could skip all of that and just buy them. I have links in the description for these hooks as well as most of the other organizers in this video. And if I come up with more organizer ideas, I'll make another video and stick it right here. In the meantime, check out my nightmare pendant light project that actually turned out gorgeous. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.